Hi guys, you're welcome to another amazing and impactful video again. So in today's video, I will be showing you how I make this hyper realistic traditional marriage bead and the kola nut. You see how beautiful, how perfect. In fact, this could pass for real beads and kola nut. So if you want to know how I make it, please stay tuned and watch to the end. The first thing you need is a good fondant recipe for this. So after that, you cut the portion of the fondant that you will need. Another thing again you need is to get your color right when working on a traditional bead. You don't expect it to be too sharp. No, you have to make it almost like the real traditional color. So after carrying your fondant, the quantity that you need, you notice I added TMC first. Why did I add TMC? So that it will be strong, to make it strong so that the kola nut or the bead can last long. If not, if you don't put TMC into your fondant when making it, by tomorrow or the next day, you discover that the kola nut is already, the bead is becoming sweaty. It will not look good, it will not look sharp. So I added fondant and then I had to use my hand to roll it to the size I want. Mind you, you can work on big sizes, you can work on smaller size. I think I just wanted a medium size here. So I roll it and then I cut with my knife. If you notice now, I'm using my knife to measure it so that I will have the same sizes of the different. I'm making two shape, one long, one small, but I want to have the same sizes. So after that, what I do is that I use my hand to smoothen the edges so that 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 knife cut will not be there, to smoothen it and make it look like a bead, like one, I don't know what they call it, one bead. So I do it all round for this type of bead. I do it for the small size, I do it for the big size. When you're working on these traditional marriage accessories, you need to know that it takes a lot of time. So it's not something that you can rush. Although when you have someone, it's better when you're doing it with, like, if you have plenty girls like him. So you can see now that I've smoothened all the edges and it's not looking, you will not see that knife cut on it again. So the next thing is that you thread your needle. It's advisable that you double the thread in the needle and then just pass it through the needle. I'm doing the pattern I'm putting two big one small one, two big one small one. So that is how we do it till the end of it. So you can see that I'm being careful to allow the needle to pass through the middle of the bead, because if it passes the size, it might affect it when you are assembling the bead later. So for the length, you just have to work with anything you want. Some beads are long, some are short, but you know that neck bead has its own length. You cannot make neck bead to look like a hand bead, but they have neck beads that are very long, like maybe longer to the chest level down to the stomach. They have neck bead that is just on the breast level. So for this, I'm not working on the length is not too long, I think it's just on the breast level. So when you are working on your own, you can use the same pattern to work with any length that you want. So this is me here. I'm just trying to arrange it to make sure that everything is okay. After that, I will now tie it. Once I'm done tying it, I carefully use scissors to cut the edges so that that thread line will not show, because it will not be realistic if you are seeing that thread line. So this is how the beads look like. It's very okay, very nice. Just cut the excess of it. Yes, just cut the excess and make it, use your hands to arrange it again to make sure that everything is working well. Now I did the same thing for the hand bead, just that the hand bead now is not that long. Yes, it's not that long, but it's the same process of putting two big ones, adding the small one in between, two big ones, adding the small one in between. So that is what I did. After that, I also tie it again. When you're working with it, you should just be checking the length so that you will not go and make something that is too as you're working, you're checking it. Oh, this is okay for hand. Yeah, this is very okay for hand, and then I just cut it like that. For the other type of bead, this is what I did. I took a little bit of fondant and I roll it in my hand. I roll it carefully to make sure that there is no line, like those joint line is not there. I roll everything to a moderate size. I didn't work with big size here, so I just settle down and roll it carefully. So after rolling it, I had to use the normal thread method to join it together. Now, no matter the type of bead you are working with, just know that you are still going to use your thread to join it. It's the perfect form of joining it. So this is the same thing. I just did the same thing, just different pattern, but the same procedure for joining. I use the thread again to pass through the middle of this little balls I roll and to get the length I want. Remember I told you that as you are working, you will be checking it. Oh, is this length long enough? If it's not long enough, you can still add one or two, five, to as long as you want. And then when you are done, you carefully tie it. Make sure you are tying it 2 times so that it will not lose. So when you are done with the neck bead, remember to always make the hand bead of that sample, because most of these beads come in both hand and neck, but it's not compulsory. It's not. You can either work with only the neck bead if you like, and then don't do the hand bead. So it's just the same procedure of joining it. It's just that it's the different types of bead that makes it different. There are different types of beads in the market. Yeah, so I tried to recreate some here. Now this is the hand bead we are done. I think it's looking very nice and perfect. So this is the third type of bead I said I'm going to show. Now this bead is those, if you are familiar with all those beads in the market, you notice that they have some beads that they call them scatter beads. So maybe that's not the name, but when I'm done with it, you will see the pattern I'm using to cut it. You bend the knife and cut. It's like the form of you are slanting it, you are cutting it from one edge to another, just to have it that scatter kind of cut. Doesn't have one particular shape, or it does not have the normal shape, but this is how it is achieved. Do it by slanting the knife to get it. So when you are done with it, normally again you have to use your hand to smoothen the edges. I'm intentionally showing it process long here so that you can grab it, unlike the other one that is just easier. I just feel it's a little bit complicated, and if you don't see it well, you might not be able to get it. That's why I'm showing process of how I'm cutting this one longer than the other ones. I just show one or two. So when I'm done again, normally I use my hand to smoothen the edges, and I use my hand to smoothen the edges so that knife, that sharp cut line will not be there. It will look like normal bead that the edges are smooth. So this is just what I did here. Like I said, this thing is not very rush. It takes a lot of time. Sometimes when I'm working on a traditional wedding cake, I use like a day or two to work on all the accessories on the body. Depends on how big it is. So this is not just what you brush and do. You will not get the right result. So after that, you just join it together and join it in this particular pattern now, where all of them are facing the back, or you can face one is facing the other side and the other one is opposite it. So anyhow you join it, at the end of the day it's still going to come out fine, like the scattered bead that it is. So as you're joining, remember you are working on the length that you want. There are some cakes that the beads will fall from one tier to the next. That one is long, but some that is just at the last one, that one might not be long. Yeah, look at this beauty. So if you have been wondering how it's done, this is this particular bead. This is one of my finest bead when I'm making traditional bead. I just love this pattern of bead. So this is how it's done. And then once you get the length you want, you tie and cut. Remember to tie it twice so that it will not loosen up. Maybe when you're trying to set it, it will loosen up. No. So remember to tie it well and see how beautiful it is. So this is how it is done. Now we want to make our cola nut. In order to achieve this kind of color, this light yellow, I use yellow color, but very little. Like I had to drop little of it. I was putting it little by little so that it will not be too yellow. When the cola nut is very yellowish, it's not really realistic. So I was just putting the color little by little so that I'll not have too much yellow. I just need it to be a little bit light cream to yellow, that other kind of cola nut color. So that was what I did here. After adding the color, I got the exact texture or the exact shade of color that I was looking for. And sometimes I think getting the right color for this cola nut is even more difficult than making the color itself. Because if you don't use the right color for the cola nut, your cola nut will not, you have the shape, but it's not realistic. It will not be realistic. The idea is that let people mistake this fondant for cola nut. Let them say, oh, I want to eat this cola nut, thinking that it is cola nut. But if you don't have the right color, nobody will think that way. So getting this color is very, very important. So when you are done getting the color, this is how I make my own color nut. Take the size I want and I roll out. This process is to make sure that the body is smooth and there's no joining. I carefully do this just to make sure that the kola nut is very smooth. So when I get the smoothness that I want, the next thing I do is I put it on the ground and then I use my hand to press it. Yes, so after using my hand to press it, and I use my hand to just see the way I'm doing it. I might not be able to explain it, to construct it. And then another realistic thing to do is to put this line here. If you have a tool you can use, but I achieve more results when I use toothpick. Cola nuts and they have patternless line. You can put the pattern as you like, and then you do it. Then this is another thing again. This is what I'm using now is browning. If you notice this particular one, the browning was not very dark, so I wanted to put it light. But after doing it, I noticed that it is more realistic if the brown line is darker. So I had to increase it later. I didn't do it on camera, but I later increased it. So this is me doing another pattern of cola nut. No, cola nut has different pattern. So just watch it and see the way it's done. I might not be able to explain it. And the same thing I did in that one, I also do it here. Put the line with the toothpick and then increase the browning so that it will be very brown, so that line will be lighter. Because I noticed that when the browning was much, it makes the cola nut very, very realistic. So if you are seeing it later, you'll notice that okay, the line is brown. Yes, so this was how I achieved it. This line is very, very, like, putting this brown in this cola nut is, I think, is the best part of it. If you don't put it, you might not get that cola nut shade. So we are done with the cola nut. Okay, so I thought I did not did it. That was me trying to put the extra browning. So we are done with the cola nut, and this is me trying to make the garden egg. I really did not. I would rate this my garden egg 5/10, but you can still learn something from it. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you have watched up to this level and you have not subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Turn off your notification button, and if you have any question, leave it in the comment section and I will attend to it. Thank you so much for watching. See you on my next video.